This looks really cool with all of these layers, and I'm pretty satisfied how this turned out. But now I'm wondering, was it coincidence that it worked so well on this page? Or can this idea also work on other pages for our junk journals? Is there perhaps a rule or a system or something like that we could apply to this idea and then do something like this with any other junk journal page as well? That is what I want to find out today. Hi, this is Luise Heinzel, and I'm really happy that you are here today because you can help me with this. I made this off camera, and I'm really hoping that you like this and that you think, oh, I want to know how this was made. And perhaps you want to pause this video for a second now and grab a junk journal page which you have laying around and which you want to include in one of your future journals. And perhaps you want to craft along with me, and then later on let me know if this worked for your page as well. That would be so cool, because I think this gives a ton of possibilities for layered junk journal pages, and yeah, with that, more interest on the pages. So what is this? Why do I have this here? And what are we doing here? If you follow my channel already for a little longer time, then you might have seen this page already in my finished Come On Chameleon journal, which I have shown you in my paper premiere. You can watch the paper premiere as a replay on my channel. The link is down below in the description box. And what this is like a little time travel, because in the premiere, where I have introduced my paper collection Come On Chameleon, I have also promised that I will show you some of my process in separate videos after the premiere, so that you can watch how the journal came together. Like, you know, not the full process, but parts of that. And for me, this is a new experience as well, because I haven't seen the journal yet while I'm filming this. Obviously not, because this is the single page and I'm in the middle of my process. So what I want to know is, can we do something like this on any other page as well? And if yes, what do we have to know about this method, and what do we have to have in mind? So what is this? I have taken one page from my Come On Chameleon junk journal pages, and then I have made a second print of this. I will go in detail about that in a second, but what I want to mention first before we go on is, so that you don't run away, I think you can do this with any other paper as well. That doesn't necessarily have to be a digital paper. With digital paper, it is pretty easy to do, I would say, because you can go to your printer and print the page twice to have the layers here. But I thought you can perhaps also take another paper or so and then make a copy of that. But please, please, listen. Please be careful with copyright, yeah? So when you have a digital paper, there's absolutely no problem. You can print this as often as you want, as long as the things you make from this are made with your own hands, yeah? So that is part of my terms of use. But in general, you can say you can print this as often as you want for your own projects. But with other pages, like for example, pages from books or so, please make sure that there's no copyright. Think about that, and then find a paper where you can say, okay, there's no copyright and no problems, and I can make a copy. Then you can use any other paper as well. You don't need digital paper. So what I have done here is I have taken this page and then I have printed it out again, but a little smaller than the original page is. And I did a really, like the easiest trick you can imagine. So let's look at this page here, because this is the page where I want to try what I have done on the other page, and I want to see if that is possible with this image and with the arrangement on the page here as well. So this here is the page which will go into my journal. I have already also printed something to the back, so that this is the base where we are working on, and this is just printed borderless, so that I have the full image on my page. This is 110 GSM matte photo paper. Then I went to my printer again and printed a second version of this page, but this time I said to my printer that it shall print the border. That makes, oh, excuse me please, that everything on the page is slightly smaller than here. I think, that's my personal opinion, that is a really great trick. I will show you in a second why I did that, because then you get what you have here also to your little arrangement. But you can also, of course, try to print it in the same size. That can also look interesting. But I thought this is a good little trick. So this here is also photo paper, but this is a little thicker. This is 200 GSM, because I thought when we want to cut this out, then it's better, and also for gluing, it's not so flimsy when we have a little thicker paper. But you can also vary that. You can also experiment with different print media. You can also say, I print something on transparency or so. Yeah, play around, please. So then the first thing what I want to do is I want to take this and fold it in half, because that's how the page will go into my journal later. So that I exactly see where the single pieces I have here are. For example, here you can see a part of this flower goes to the other page. That is on purpose, design-wise, but we have to have this in mind, because when we turn that around and we want to work with this flower here, we have to have in mind that here is later on the other page of the journal, and we have this fold here, and we don't want to glue something, or let's say I don't want to glue something around here to make this area not too stiff and too thick, because I think that makes it hard to bind the page into the journal. That's why I want to stop my layered arrangement here later. So then, don't laugh, okay? Then I have this. This looks absolutely weird, I know. I'm a little bit scared about this, but I also made the experience already that this works for what I want to do with it. What is this? If you have seen the paper premiere, you have already also seen, and you can also tell it here, even if you haven't seen the paper premiere yet, the colors in the Come On Chameleon paper set are pretty like rainbow-ish. There are a ton of different colors, and what I did is I went through my paper scraps, some leftover scrapbooking paper, some pieces where I had added some watercolor, like, you know, swatch thingies and so on. Here's even some alcohol inked stuff, and I went through that, looked which colors would fit to my paper collection. So I have had not only both of these pages on my desk, but the others as well. And then when I determined the colors for the journal, I chose these, you know, before I have die cut them, from my stash with the colors where I thought that fits to the single pages. That's why this looks so weird, and it seems to be totally chaotic, and at first glance you think this can't work, but I'm hoping that it will work. So what am I going to do? I take my page here, and from here I will take out the pieces which I have cut out from those papers where I first decided that they fit to the page, and then I have thrown them into my die cut machine with the die cut, and I have cut the pieces out. Can you see? This fits now, even if when you hold it like so, you think that can't work. So in here, there are some pieces where I thought that could fit nicely to this. And what I figured out is that I have one die cut which is perfect for this flower layering. But please go through your die cuts and look what you have, and look where you think, take those die cuts where you think, ooh, that could fit well to the shape. Or I have a flower and then I choose flower pieces. I have leaves, then I think, okay, perhaps I have some die cut leaves or so. If you don't have die cuts, you can also, of course, take other paper and then cut that out with your scissors and make some own, like, little pieces. These will also not be used in the same, in the way they are supposed to be used. To make that clear, these pieces come from this set here by Sizzix and Tim Holtz. One of the, in my opinion, one of the most underrated die cut sets ever, because when you see this, you first think, oh, I have to take this and glue this on there, then I have to take these layers and I have to layer them, and then the center of the flower, and then I have a flower. The next thing you could think is, okay, I can do that in different colors, and then I have multiple flowers which look nice, but take a look at the single components and throw them into your creations, and you will have way more possibilities than you perhaps might have thought when you saw this for the first time. The number of this cool set is 666283. I have also other things here, like the wildflower stamps. Oh, I have the set not here, but I think you know these. I use these very, very often. There are different sets of the wildflower stamps available, and I thought the blossoms of these could match really well. That is also a pretty cool addition here, especially because we have this leaf here on the print already, and I think gold and red, that is always good. So then we are going to take our scissors, and now I want to cut this out. And now you have to check your paper regarding to what you want to cut out. Here it is really, really easy because I can cut around here and then I have my flower. Here it is also pretty easy. I can cut around here and then I have my flower. But what if you, for example, have a page like this and you want to have this here, this and this and this? Then you have to make sure that you cut exactly here, yeah, around the blue flower to take that off. Then you can cut this, and then, you know, you are left with this. You can cut this then and this, but you have to make sure, do you understand what I mean? That you cut on these, exactly on these lines, to not lose a piece of this, and also here cut along exactly this line to not lose a piece of this. Of course, if that happens, print the page out again and, you know, cut it out again. But if you cut along these lines, you can separate the flowers from each other without losing any material from your print. The same for the single petals of this, because we will cut into those as well. And there, when I explain that, it will probably make more sense what I'm telling you here. And now I want to see where the single petals of the flower are. And I think if you don't have a flower, you can find those single areas as well. I think with flowers it's the easiest thing because that is very obvious, but I'm assuming that that works with other images as well. So this petal here is the first one I want to separate. So I can see here is this little line which is starting here. So I'm going to take my scissors and I carefully cut in here, following this line on the print. It makes it, in my opinion, more artsy when you take the paper and you move the paper a little bit around, so that you don't have this like really straight and exact cut here, but with a little, you know, wiggly woggly cutting. Do you know what I mean? So we do the same thing here. Just cut along this line. And we stop there where these little things here are. And with that, we have separated this petal from the flower. Very easy. So then, when I look here, I can see if I would cut along here, this part will fall off. So let's see if we want that or if we want to have it on here. And for that, I take this and I line this thing up in the left bottom corner here so that this angle of this thing is lined up with the angle of the page there, so that we don't have like this ugly gap or so, because I want to have this here like, you know, in one line with the edge of the page, the corner of the page, sorry. So then you can see when I do that, and because I printed this with the border, we have here this little thing which we can see from the print. And the flower on top is slightly smaller now, and that gives us our first layer. If I had printed this here in exactly the same size like that, then it would line up here because it would be the same size, and we would not get this first interesting layer here. But I think that is personal preference. You can try that out, what you like better, the same size or this slightly smaller size, but I really like this. So then when I have this on here, I can decide, do I want to leave this part here or do I want to cut this off? I think it could look good when we cut it off because we have it on here. So then when we cut this off, and for that I also cut along this line here, when we cut this off, we see more of this first layer on the page, because now when I put it back on here, you can see we see this, and we even see here a second layer of this petal, because obviously, you know, that is shown here on the page as well. Can you see that? And that makes it already really, yeah, somehow dimensional or so. I think that is pretty good. And then I'm going to take this flower here on this page and I will cut this out as well. And I will also cut this border off. And as you can see, this is now overlapping, and that is something we don't want. We don't want to glue that around the page. So what I'm going to do is I make a mark. I take green so that you can see that better here, so that I have a little distance from where I will cut in a second to the edge of the page, and the second mark is here, so that gives me a little bit of room so that I can flip the page later really easily. So let's cut this off. So then, where to cut here? I think we are going to start with this top petal here again, like on the other flower. Just cut in here and wiggle a little bit. The same here. So that this is now separated. And then I will go on with this petal here. Just cut in here. And I think since this is here on the edge, I will not cut in here, or what will I do? Well, we can, if we don't need that cut, we can just glue it down later and it will look nice. Like so. And then I think I want to try something. Look, this darker area here is obviously a petal which is under this one. So I want to try to make a little operation and cut this out. Off, I mean. So I cut in here, like so. And then around here. And a little bit in here to make this here not so dark, just like this. And I think we should also make another operation and cut this leaf off. I want to put something in between. So if I see this is nice, but it would look good if here was something in between. Then I separate this so that I can have this here and this here. And then I can easily, for example, take something and put that in here to make the layering. Does that make sense? Hopefully. So then we could consider to cut in here as well, and I think I want to do that. Then this piece will fall off, but who cares? Don't throw it away, but you know, also don't freak your freak. Okay, so then we can also go in here and separate this petal so that we now have, you know, a cut in between of each of the petals, if that makes sense. So I think we have now all of the, let's call it preparation work done, so that we can take our die cut pieces and try to layer them here. So how to start? I have no idea. I think the easiest thing is to take what speaks the most to you and what seems to be the easiest piece to start with. So let's perhaps take this first. And what I did for the other page was I have taken this and I have tried to fiddle this around here to see where I want to have it. When I do that here, I can see that this would be somehow interesting, but at the same time it covers a lot of the center of the flower. So perhaps we can do it differently. I mean, it can happen you do that and then it works for you, then please, you know, do it and leave it there. But I want to try something else. I want to fiddle it through here like so, so that it's behind this and over this, because I think that makes more sense somehow. So go in there. I think I like that better. Let's try to find the exact correct position, and with correct I mean what you like, that is the correct position. Then I press my finger here, I take some glue and then I use my finger to bring the glue under here, but not everywhere. I don't want to glue this piece down completely. So the glue is now only here and this is still in the air, which makes it obviously more dimensional, and I really like that. So then when I have that, I take this and I turn it around, because here you can see we have a ton of material. Oh, you can't see it, I'm sorry. We have a ton of material which we won't see in the end, and of course I don't want to waste that. So I lift this up, put a little bit of glue here, press this down, and then I just tear it here, because this little piece is enough to hold the whole thing together and it will not fall apart. Just needs a little bit of gluing surface, and then you can tear the rest off, or you can cut it off as well, and then we can still use this for something else. Let's then take what we've just torn off, and here I can already see this area here is pretty fragile. That's because this paper is so thin. So I tear it apart and think, okay, this wants to tell me something, and that is that it wants to be torn apart. And then I can use this to put that somewhere else, perhaps here. That looks really good. So I take this, put some glue here, and then I carefully put it under here. And I want to make sure that I don't glue this on here, because I want to try, but I don't know if that works, to turn that into a tuck spot as well. So that, if you want to do that as well, you obviously can't glue everything to the page now, but you have to leave it loose. But yeah, that's of course also up to you if you want to have a tuck spot or not. If you just want to have a nice collage, then please just glue the pieces down now. I don't like this color here so much, but perhaps we can take this and put that to the top flower here. Yeah, and here these colors fit way better, so I think can lift this up and we can then decide about the portion we want to put under here, like so. And what about this little piece here? We could perhaps try to put this in here. So here I put a little bit of glue on top of this piece and a little bit like so, so that it sticks to the other petal as well, and then I just fiddle that in there. So what else do we have? What about these leaves? And what's going to happen with this area where this is now under this? I have no idea. Perhaps we should take a smaller one for here, but that's overlapping as well. I don't like that so much, because when I want to turn this into a tuck spot, I need to have some possibility here to tuck the things in, but perhaps it's just my weird thinking at the moment. Nope, I don't like that. Let's see, I also have these. They are a little more sturdy because they are cut from watercolor paper. This is just some 110 GSM photo paper, so that makes them obviously a little more flimsy. And for a tuck spot, that is perhaps not so nice. Ooh, but I like that. I think that is really nice. Yep, let's do that. Let's just put a little bit of glue here to this little area where it overlaps the petal of the flower, so that we then can first bring it into the right position like so, and then we can take this whole thing, open this here, put more glue here so that it is really sturdy then. I think we should add another one of these. Oh no, I don't have another one of these. Ah, what is that? Oh no. Okay, so that means we probably have to use these, because they are cut from a similar, or like, yeah, not the same paper, but it was a pile of papers in the same style I had. So that would fit, because this looks now a little bit like lost. So let's see, let's tear this off so that we can see what we can do with this piece to get the same color like the leaf has. That is probably a little bit too busy. But what if we, let's see, is this perhaps a good piece to make the center of the flower a little more interesting? Perhaps, oh yes, I like that. I really like how this of the die cut and the thing here on my printable, they are like a harmony somehow. So let's take this thing, let's just glue it down. Don't think about this too much, Louise. But now we have this color, but we need more leaves, don't we? I mean, that looks really weird at the moment with this, only this one leaf. I have this little thing also cut from a similar paper like the other leaf. I'm not so sure if I want to have that there, but we can leave it here without gluing it and then just see if that can work. Ooh. I think I will manipulate this even further. Just cut this little piece off. I don't know why I need that, because it's already here, so I don't need it on this piece as well. I'm just thinking I will also cut, I will now cut parallel to this cut here, just a few millimeters, to make this a little bit smaller and easier to arrange. And now we can perhaps shift this just a little bit. Like so. Put some glue here. Glue this down. And then we suddenly have 2 leaves instead of 1, and a nice layered effect here. Okay. Oh no! Oh no! Here's my second leaf. Ah, look! Here's the second leaf I had from here. I thought I had for here. Ah! I knew it is there. Ah, okay. Oh, and we even have this one. Why haven't I seen that before? Well, we don't know. But perhaps that's the solution, that I don't have a second of these, because this is the same color like that. And I was thinking if I want to have that color somehow again here on the top. And here is also, there's something missing. It looks weird. This looks so regular when this is there, doesn't it? I'm not giving up. I am not giving up. What if I cut this in half? Because then we could make that, I mean, this is here very alone, isn't it? But what if I put half of this little thing here and the other half here? Yeah, see, that's the solution. So then we want to try to turn this piece into a tuck spot, right? So let's take that and let's turn it around and let's see what's going on here. Let's first check if it needs more glue somewhere or if everything is glued down, but I think this is okay. But the thing is that we have all of these weird edges here, and I'm not so sure if that is handy for the journal later. So I want to have the things sliding in and out really easily. So let's just take some tape. I'm going to put some glue on the edges here. I'm just thinking if I shall glue this down. I think I will do that. Don't wanna. I will quickly put some tape on here as well. Here. So now, what about 2 buttons? One here and one there. Like so. And then I want splatters. There's still missing some gold here, so let's take some tarnished brass distress paint. This is already mixed with some water. Let's put a few splatters there. Also, oh, excuse me, to the flower itself. Yeah. So this can then dry, and then this is finished, I would say. And what about this? Shall we here quickly also add some splatters? And if yes, which color shall I use? I mean, these are like the first pages I have for my journal, or how can I say that, where I can get an idea of how the journal will look in the end. And I'm not so sure, will I go with golden splatters everywhere, or what will I do? I mean, the good thing is that tarnished brass is magic on photo paper, like many of the other distress mediums as well. You can already see that here. Some of the splatters turn into silver and some stay gold. That is because of the photo paper. I mean, tarnished brass is meant to be gold, but can you see that some of them stay gold and some turn silver? And that is good, because if I look at this page, I would say that a color like silver or white would fit way better to this than gold. So that means now it's really like the weirdest thing of thinking, but that's how my brain works. Instead of taking white or silver, I take this because I know that it will turn out silver in some areas. That makes it silver, which fits better to this page. But there where it stays gold, it fits wonderfully to this page. Do you know what I mean? My goodness, it feels so weird. Okay, so then that's it for today. Please let me know if you have tried this out, and perhaps you also would like to share your results on social media. Then please make sure to tag me somehow, or send me a message with your post or so that I can see what you have done. I would be really, really interested if this little like method works for you as well, and yeah, what you came up with. So have fun with this idea, and see you the next time. Bye bye.